Hi everybody and welcome to another video. My name is Richard Seidlitz, I'm the owner of Redpants.lol, and today I'm going to show you how to change the windshield washer tank on an Aston Martin. Now these things are fairly common points of failure on these cars. It's a very weird thing because these are very sturdy plastic. They are not fragile, but for some reason they can crack. And when that happens, it may not be able to contain enough fluid to prevent the sensor, which is located on the back, from registering that there's enough fluid in the tank. And when that happens, you will get a very annoying fill your washer tank warning message on your gauge cluster every time you start your car, and often reoccurring while you're driving your car. It's very annoying, so in order to fix it, you typically have to replace the washer tank. There is the chance that you can repair it, but all the technicians I've talked to at Aston Martin that have dealt with this very often have said that it's never permanent and it usually comes back and it's temporary, so while you're in there you might as well just replace the thing. There's a very important aspect you need to know about these before you order one, and that is whether or not you have headlight washers. If you have headlight washers, you need to get the washer tank that has two pumps. As you can see, I've got headlight washers, so I have two pumps on this. One is for the windshield, the other is for the headlights. And each of these needs to be there if you have that headlight washer functionality. If you don't have that, you only need the one with the one pump. All the hoses that are in the car are going to get reused. So as you can see in my hands is what you will get when you order a washer tank. The hoses get reused, the connections are going to come off of each of the pumps as well as off of the sensor on the back. And you're also going to have a fill neck, which is going to have to be routed up into the top of the engine bay. This is the point up top where you actually fill up the tank with washer fluid. In order to install this, you need to remove the front right-hand wheel, that is the passenger side in the United States, and then the fender liner from that same corner, and that will expose this. It sits right behind the front right-hand wheel. It's very easy to see once you have the fender liner out. With that fender liner out, you can replace it, and there's only 3 T30 Torx bolts that hold it in place. There's the one at the top, and then there's 2 at the bottom. I'm going to show you where those are, and I also have a write-up on redpants.lol showing this whole process with pictures and step-by-step instructions, as well as all the parts and tools you need to do the job. It's not that difficult, but there are a couple tight places, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this right now. The first thing that you need to do for this job is to loosen up the clamp that holds the filler neck, the rubber filler neck, onto the cap where you fill in the washer fluid. It's just a flathead screwdriver. You can put it here and you twist it to loosen. You're going to be reusing this ring clamp, this worm gear clamp, so you don't want to lose it, and it doesn't take much to loosen as you can see. But once that's loose, carefully pull that off of the bottom of this filler neck, and that's that. And as you pull the washer tank out from beneath, this is going to follow it. If you don't want to lose this clamp, you can just take it off now. Since we're getting rid of this, you don't have to be too careful with this, although you might want to just in case, because who knows what's going to happen down the road. That's all there is to that, and then we're going to go underneath the car to show the washer tank itself. As you can see, the fender liner is now out of the car. You do need to remove it entirely, at least from the back side, to get to the tank, because it is a big item that is back here. There are the 2 connectors that are here and here, and they are different. This one here has a little wire spring clip that keeps the connector attached. I find that it's easy to use a set of needle nose pliers to get on there and then rotate it out. On the back, this one has a tab that you need to push in. In typical Aston Martin fashion, they put the tab in the worst place possible. It's on the backside, which means you have to get your fingers around this to the backside to press this in. It's not that bad because the pump can move a little bit because it's sitting in a rubber grommet. It's not as hard mounted as it could be, but you do need to get back there and press that in, and it's a small tab, so get ready to fight that a little bit. Just be careful not to break that connector. If you do, you have to replace it, and trust me, it's not easy. So that comes off. That one, this one comes off, and now they are free. All these things have these divots in here. The hoses and the wiring have divots in here to keep it pushed into the tank. All you do is you pull out on it to get those loose, like so. And there we go. Now, if you have trouble disconnecting the rubber hoses from these washer pumps, the easy thing that I have found to do is if you get a set of pliers like this, you can use this, sort of grab onto the tip of it and rotate it while pulling, and that's going to break that seal. The trick though is you be very gentle because you don't want to tear the hoses and you don't want to break anything. All you want to do is just get enough grip on there and enough force to break the seal and to help you wiggle it loose. Once these are out, you can go ahead and remove the Torx bolts that are holding it in place, and we're going to do that next. The last thing that was connected to this washer tank was the sensor, which is on the back side. The easiest way to get to it is to go from underneath, basically right up through here, and reach in from behind to get it. Now, it has another one of those zip ties that presses in just like the starter cable zip ties, and it's on the back side. So that's another one that you have to snip to release this. There's a connector on here, but mine was a bit stuck, so I just pulled it out because this is just pressure fit. And since this is being replaced and there's a new sensor that's included with the new washer tank, it's not that big of a deal to just pull the thing out. Just remember, you need to be careful with your wiring and connectors because those have to stay in the car and be reused for the new tanks. Once this is out, I can then go ahead and remove it, and the washer tank is free to be removed from the car. On the bottom side, there are two spots. You can see these two holes in the bottom when you have your tank. There are zip ties with fir tree attachments that plug into here. And as you can see, this is the starter cable that runs along the bottom side of this washer tank. You can probably pull these things out of the original tank, but it's a huge pain. It's far easier to just cut these and use new ones. When you buy a washer tank from Redpants, these are included. So all you have to do is take some snips and cut the zip ties that are holding the cable attached to the bottom, and then install the washer tank with the new zip ties and reattach that cable. Having removed my washer tank, I found the crack, and it's all the way up here. It's a massive crack. It's kind of scary how wide the crack is. It's a weird innuendo, don't read into that. But being so high up on the tank, it's impossible for that to be causing the problem that I've been having where I'm getting a low fluid warning. So I dug a little bit deeper and I realized that my sensor is actually the problem. I did check the tank for cracks. I filled it up, I moved it around. I couldn't find any other cracks aside for the one that's at the top, and that's not causing my problem. So the sensor, however, turned out to be the actual root of my issue. Now, the way this works is you have a sensor and it's got this white end that floats in fluid. It's buoyant. When the fluid gets to a certain level, it drops with the level of the fluid. At that point, the connection is broken between these and it sends a signal saying, hey, the fluid is to that at least that low, you need to put more into it, and that's when that prompt shows up on your gauge cluster. When I looked at mine, the sensor had a lot of buildup, so I cleaned it off, and my buddy Evan, who's behind the camera, helped me test this by closing this. I turned on the car, no warning. I told him to open it. A warning popped up immediately. We turned off the car, we closed it, we did it again, we did this a few times to see, is this actually the problem? And it turns out it was. That apparently fixed my issue. So instead of having to replace this whole tank, all I have to do is clean the sensor, plug it back in, and I'm good to go. Although the sensor is on the back side of the tank, back here, you don't have to remove the tank to get to it. You can actually get it to it from underneath the car. It's very easy to do. So if you think that maybe you have a cracked windshield washer fluid reservoir, I said windshield in the last take, which I do have multiple chips and divots in my windshield. That's a sore subject, so let's skip that. But if you do think that you have a crack in the fluid reservoir, check the sensor first because it may just need to be pulled out and cleaned and popped back in. When you do this, there's a grommet that sits right here that is basically is the seal when this goes through the washer tank wall. Make sure you don't damage that because that's the only thing keeping the fluid from leaking out where the sensor goes into the tank. Also make sure that you're careful with your wiring and your connectors because those stay in the car. Clean off these surfaces in here, and you can see there's like a magnet that's in here that basically is the connection that needs to stay maintained in order for the tank to say that it has enough fluid. Then pop it back in, make sure that it's not leaking. one quick note is that if there's more fluid in the tank than there is up to this level, as soon as you pull this out, all of it's going to come out of that hole. So just be ready for that. Have a drain bucket or spray the crap out of your windshield, I guess. You know, you just make sure you're ready for that fluid to come out when you pull this out. So there's two things that you could do. If you have a cracked windshield washer reservoir tank, you do need to replace it. If you have a dirty sensor, that's an easy fix. Go from underneath, from behind the tank, and you can pull the sensor out and clean it. As always, if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out, rich@redpants.lol, or the contact page of my website, redpants.lol, and I will see you next time.